Hi friends, I am M. Rahul, studying in KCS Kasinagar College of Arts and Science. Today I am going to talk about a topic, Pigeon Feathers by John Updike. John Updike. John Updike was born on March 18, 1932 and died on January 27, 2009. Updike was an American novelist, poet, short story writer, art critic and literary critic. A Rabbit is Rich and Rabbit at Rest both received the Pulitzer Prize. 13-year-old David moves with his family to Firetown. He has trouble adjusting to his new house despite the fact that his family moves frequently. In his second week there, he decides to reorganize the books and picks up a copy of H.G. Wells' The Outline of History. He is appalled and impressed by Wells' secular account of the life of Jesus. Intrigued despite himself, David rereads the passage and tries to come up with objections to Wells but cannot. We learn that David's family moved to a farm in Firetown on the insistence of his mother, who grew up on the farm and wanted to return to it. His father, a school teacher, is uncomfortable with the open spaces and makes excuses to spend time in town. David's parents argue frequently about organic farming. On one such night, David goes to the outhouse to get away from his parents fighting. Suddenly, an insect alights on his flashlight, inspiring in David a deep sense of existential dread. When David returns, his parents are still arguing over organic farming. His mother believes that pesticides kill the land soil, while his father insists that organic farming is a remnant of the Dark Ages. When he goes to bed, David holds his hands in the air and prays that Christ will touch them to prove that God exists. David feels nothing, but is unsure whether or not Jesus has simply touched him gently. On Sunday, David's father goes to church while David and his mother stay home to work. Mother recognizes that something is troubling David and she asks him about it. But David remains taciturn and won't discuss his fears of mortality. When he gets home, David's father remarks that the pastor is too intelligent for the farmers and people who stay on the farm instead of moving to the city are the lame, the halt, the blind, human garbage. In catechism class, David asks Reverend Dobson what happens to consciousness between death and judgment day. Both the reverends and the other students' uneasy reaction to the question make David feel stupid for asking. After many follow-up questions, Dobson tells David he may think of heaven as the way in which the goodness Abraham Lincoln did lives after him. The reverend concedes that people do not remain conscious after they die. Later, David's mother confronts him when she sees him reading the Bible. He angrily explains that Reverend Dobson effectively told him there is no heaven. Mother tries to explain that one lifetime is enough and that God is a human construct, though the evidence of divinity is all around them. But David angrily writes off her explanation as the illogical workings of the feminine mind. Mother suggests that David read Plato's parable of the cave and confides in him that the fear of death lessens as one gets older. She calls in David's father, who says that life is nothing but garbage, and therefore David need not worry about death. Over the next few months, David continues to obsess about death, but he finds superficial comfort in school and at church. For his 14th birthday, David's parents give him a rifle. One day, Grandmom asks David to shoot the family of pigeons that have nested in the barn. He derives a kind of joy from killing the impudent birds. When he shoots one, but it does not fall from the rafters, he shoots it again and again, hoping to make it fall like the others. Mother comes into the barn and reprimands him for making noise, shooting excessively and spooking their dog Copper. She orders him to bury the birds. As he does so, David admires their beautiful feathers. He is overcome by the beauty of the world around him and ponders that the God who had lavished such craft upon these worthless birds would not destroy his whole creation by refusing to let David live forever. Thank you, friends.